Hey, and good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel. Hope you're having a great day. We've got another day of active severe weather for today, so I wanted to make sure I gave you the latest and greatest information here from the latest model data, as well as what the latest is from the Storm Prediction Center, to make sure that we keep you prepared and not scared and ready to react should you have any bad weather coming into your backyard. Now, if you're coming into after the live update on this and you'd like to make this kind of a regular part of your regular YouTube feed, if you could please do me the favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted when you do these updates. And we also do live updates from time to time as well. Again, our goal here at the Weather News channel is to make sure that you're informed and make sure that we don't scare the bejesus out of you. So let's keep you up to date. All right, let's see what's going on out there right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at radar mega. We do have some rain and some thunderstorms moving through the Memphis area here for this morning. Nothing to be too concerned about out there, but definitely a little bit wet, a little damp, a little weary out there with some of the cloud conditions. You can see some of the Mamadas out there, even with some of this leftover convection from yesterday, still firing off some rain and some thunderstorms. But things will go downhill a little bit later today. I do not believe it's going to be quite as bad as it was yesterday, just kind of looking at the latest data that's kind of coming in right now. But you still need to go ahead and be ready for it. All right, so let's go ahead and break this down. Let's look at our day one outlook here as we go and transition over to this real quick. As we're looking at that enhanced area for severe weather, that's what we're looking at for right now. So this is going into Kentucky, obviously up near the Richmond area, Bowling Green, heading toward Nashville. Knoxville's in this. Huntsville's also in this, stretching down to Greenwood and Columbus, Mississippi. Birmingham's in that. Then you got surrounded by that slight risk. That's that level 2 from Bloomington down toward Jonesboro, Monroe, Louisiana, getting into North Georgia in this and part of the Piedmont area, and then the marginal risk around that. So we're going to be seeing a developing squall line, looks like, for today. And we'll be watching to see if we get any individual severe thunderstorms that kind of pop up there as well. Let's go and look at the categorical breakdown. We do have a tornado risk with this here for your day one. Oops, get over here. There it is right there. So again, it's going to be looking at the areas there in that enhanced zone. It's kind of filled in there, running about 10%. So not quite as high as yesterday. And we'll see if that changes for today. Looking at the model data, I think we kind of hold true what we're seeing for today. So Bowling Green, Nashville, getting up toward Rome, Georgia, Huntsville, Birmingham, again, Starkville, Greenville, kind of all in there in that 10%. The brown is in 5%, and of course the green drops off to 2%. But there's our bullseye. That's what we're going to be watching here for today. Let's check out the wind threat here for today. Obviously, that's going to be higher. That purple zone goes up to 45%. So Bowling Green, Nashville's in this as well, heading over toward Harriman, Chattanooga's in this, Huntsville, in this, so a very high risk for some wind damage in here. Winds greater than 60, 70 miles per hour, not out of the woods. And then we got the red area, which is still nothing to sneeze at. That's 30% there in the red from Louisville, stretching back into areas of northwest Georgia, coming back and toward areas of Mississippi as well. And then we kind of taper off to that 15%, which takes up a much bigger section here, going from Bloomington, Illinois, all the way down there, Alexander, Louisiana, stretching through metro Atlanta area, going over toward Asheville. So we've got a pretty big swath there, and then surrounded by that brown area. So a fairly large chunk of the country there seeing some active wind threat possibility for today. How about the hail threat? Well, that's not looking too bad. We got that one little zone here up across the Mississippi River area here from Paducah down toward Clarksdale. And then we got the larger yellow swath there running about 15% there from Bloomington down toward Knoxville, down toward Rome, Georgia, Birmingham, again, all the way down to Monroe, that big yellow area there showing that 15%, and then down to 5% in the brown zone. So that's how it's breaking down for today. Now, the good news is this is the most active weather day, guys. Okay, so as we go to day two, you're going to see it kind of exits off the eastern seaboard. We got to the mid-Atlantic down toward Jacksonville. Might be a slight chance you might see that upgrade to a slight risk somewhere. But it looks like as we go into this, we're getting a nice little break here. We got a little pocket going into day three. So things will begin to settle down, but we got to get through the active weather here for today. Obviously, this is the area of concern for this afternoon. All right, so what's driving this right now? So we got a little bit of a pattern change that's taking place across the country, okay? So we got to have some very unusual weather kind of coming in here across the eastern half. Of course, we've got a pretty decent low pressure system up here across areas of Minnesota, and we got a trailing cold front there. You see the showers and thunderstorms there kind of lighting up this morning. Kind of, like I said, the residual stuff from yesterday. So things are going to settle down a little bit here for today, slightly. Yesterday we had a moderate risk. The official tally right now is from the Storm Prediction Center still being looked at. Right now it's about 6 tornadoes yesterday. We've had 81 since Friday, so it's been pretty active. Been 2 pretty active weather days there. I'm sure the total for yesterday was going to go up once they get the final assessments from the National Weather Service tours going out there. So that's what we're kind of watching. Again, watching that cold front there in the middle of the country, and it's going to really cool down behind this thing. I mean, we've got temperatures back here in the 40s across Nebraska, so kind of unusual to see that in May. But this, with these residual kind of boundaries that are kind of setting up across the southeast, we've got a lot of moist latent air, and it's going to be real easy to fire up those thunderstorms. So let's go ahead and talk about the radar. Let's go and look at the latest model data here. We're going to break this down for you and kind of look at this and look at the different things. So the first thing we're going to look at here is going to look at the instability factor. Again, when we talk about instability, we're talking about latent heat. So here's what we're looking at right here. Again, we're looking at this coming in for this afternoon. So as this progresses, we got some decent energy across the southeast. Not quite as bad as yesterday. We had like 4,000 up there in the measurements there. These are 2,000, 1,800, 1,300. So I mean, these aren't bad. These will support some thunderstorms, that's for sure. 1,900 there across Alabama. And this is at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So we got some instability there. Not as quite an octane as it was yesterday, but it's still healthy. Definitely good enough to support some severe thunderstorms. And this will be pushing off toward the east as that frontal system begins to clear. You can clearly see where that front is, as you see kind of lined up right there. So definitely seeing that lining up. So again, watch out for that as that comes on through. Let me clear this on out. And again, we'll kind of watch that timestamp as it kind of moves off toward the east. Still looks like some decent flow of some heat there across Alabama. Now let's look at the tornado parameter here for today. Again, not running quite as high as yesterday, but it's going to be there. So you're going to see that, again, this kind of running into the evening hours here, going across northern Alabama. Mississippi looks like needs to watch. Tennessee, maybe a slight chance there. And it's sneaking a little bit into Georgia here, going to the evening hours. So that is, again, the latest high-resolution model data showing in here. So we'll have to watch very closely across Mississippi and Alabama, the highest parameters there as we go into the evening hours. That's when those storms will be firing up as we go into later in the afternoon. So let's go ahead and look at the latest model there. This is the composite radar. Get an idea of what the radar is going to look like during a specific time. So again, we're going to watch this very closely. Let me make sure that the timestamp here is on for you real quick. Make sure this is on for you. Let's turn that on. There we go. So again, watch that little timestamp there in that upper right-hand corner there as you get an idea of the time on this. This is 11Z, just came in here. So you're looking at what's up to those storms right now this morning, kind of going through Tennessee. And then we'll see some new activity here kind of flaring off. So we get some more activity here popping off here across the western portions of Tennessee. You see that back here toward the east there a little bit. Let me get that line up there. There we go. So you see it kind of lining up back through here. And we'll see the storms. We'll see if we get any kind of individual superstorms out ahead of this. So we got a little cluster of storms that we have to watch in Alabama. This is going towards 7 o'clock. Remember that highest tornado parameter was running on 7 o'clock, and you see these individual storms there in Alabama. And then you got the squall line coming in here, and then we got another cluster of storms up here in Kentucky. This looks like a little bit of upper level disturbance riding up to the north on that, based off with the radar signature. So this will move off toward the east. So we got a few storms out ahead of that main squall line. We have to watch in Alabama coming into Georgia as we go in toward 8, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. So that'll be coming on in, and then we see it coming on in here at 12 o'clock at midnight. So you folks here across North Georgia, that's my backyard. It's showing a bit of a gap, not showing a whole lot in there, and showing the heavier storms to the north, to south, and to the north. I will say this, compared to what we've seen the last couple of days as far as the high resolution reflectivity, none of these storms are really knocking my socks off. There's a chance you're going to get severe weather there, and of course the parameters are there that are justifying that enhanced area. But again, I'm not expecting a widespread outbreak for today. I think it'll be isolated to scattered events out there, and just folks need to be prepared to react should the bad weather comes through. We're not worried about any flash flooding because this stuff's moving pretty good, although Kentucky's still looking at flooding problems up there because they've had numerous rain amounts still going through, and they're going to have another round here for today. In fact, I can kind of show you the watch warning here again. They do have portions of Kentucky and West Virginia. They're showing that flash flooding watches in that area just because they've seen so much water into those areas. But we'll see some additional tornado watches, I promise you, here coming across the south as this comes on in here going in for tonight. So just like I said, just be prepared. Don't be scared. Just do what you got to do and watch this one once again very closely. So let's go ahead and look at that. Once again, I'll wrap this up by once again taking a look at the breakdown for today. Again, we're looking at that enhanced area for severe weather. Right now, I don't anticipate that to be upgraded to a moderate risk here for that zone. So again, if you're anywhere into this part of the country, across Kentucky, big part of Tennessee, obviously, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and northwest Georgia, this is the areas you got to watch for the highest there. And thank you for that new subscriber. I always like to acknowledge a new subscriber there. and make sure that you just pay attention to the system. Now, the weather radios, this is a bit of an issue. There is a bit of an issue there. Tennessee and Northern Alabama, their National Weather Service radios will not operate today. They are being worked on. I do not know the ins and outs of why they're down, but the weather radio network there in Tennessee and Alabama will not be functional. So make sure that you have a good weather app here for today and pay attention if you're in that part of the country, because those weather radio alerts will not be operating today. So please be careful out there and get that going. And again, thank you for the new subscribers here on the channel. We're a struggling small channel trying to make our way in a very convoluted and crowded field out there in the YouTube universe. So again, if you want to share this with your neighbors and friends and be part of our small family here, I look forward to serving you guys here in the future, especially with hurricane season coming up. All right, that is y'all's morning update. Again, look for live updates later this afternoon. I'm thinking 3 or 4 o'clock. It's going to be kind of late for me because I will be tracking this for the North Georgia First Alert Weather, which is my smaller local channel here across North Georgia. So it's going to be a long, late night for me. But look at for about 3 or 4 o'clock. I will post that up here for you guys to come back and check. And again, if you want to get that notification and you're not a subscriber yet, just hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, that's it. That's your morning update. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next update. Hope to see you this afternoon. You guys have a great day.